Before we start, this episode of Gayish features frank discussion and even jokes about stalking, cyberstalking, domestic violence, and sexual assault. If that is something you prefer not to hear, or if there's any possibility that will be a trigger for you in any way, we suggest you please skip this week's episode. If you or anyone you know is a current or potential victim of stalking, there are resources available listed on our website at gayishpodcast.com/help. If you feel unsafe right now, call 911. And now, enjoy Gayish.
When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that spits in your mouth and not in your hands.
Oh, I love it.
That one was provided by our very own Derek. Thank you, Derek.
Derek.
What a good one, right?
Give that guy a raise.
Yeah. An extra nothing every other week.
Yep. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, we're going to talk about stalking.
We're going to talk about Stalker Channing.
Yeah. Which, very relevant these days.
Yeah, for sure.
She's been in the news a lot lately.
No, we're going to talk about stalking.
We're going to talk about stalking and on all things stalkery. But first, let's do this. Let's do 100 words. So at a certain level of Patreon, if you send in 100 words, I will read them. Also known as the Use Mike's Whole benefit, which, avail yourselves of that, everybody, every chance you get.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we go. We have 100 words. Just wanted to take a moment to note the passing on April 22nd of Michael Tilson Thomas, a towering force in classical music and one of the few elite conductors to be openly gay. A protege of Leonard Bernstein, himself notably gayish, Tilson Thomas, or simply MTT, led the San Francisco Symphony for 25 years, conducted the world's major orchestras, founded the prestigious training orchestra New World Symphony, and tirelessly promoted music education. Also a renowned composer and pianist, he met his future husband, Joshua Robeson, in their middle school orchestra at the tender ages of 12 and 11, respectively. They were a couple for 50 years and married since 2014. Robeson died in February and MTT passed on April 22nd after a years-long battle with glioblastoma. He was 81. Always enjoy listening. Contra bassoon.
Oh, what a good way to memorialize someone and help other people learn about who the fuck that is.
Yeah. Also, if your username is Contra bassoon, that says something about you.
Yep. Also, good pronunciation of glioblastoma or whatever it was.
I don't even know if that was right, Kyle. It
sounded great. It sounded really good.
Contra bassoon, thank you for sending that in. Thank you for using my whole for such a nice send off.
Yes, for sure. People are very kind in the way they use your whole most often. Other times they make you say lizard.
Yeah. Well, and I think gently using my whole is the right way for me.
Oh, man.
If it was to use Kyle's whole benefit, it would be, I think, different.
Yeah. Boy, we're so different. Okay. That's not what this episode is about, though.
Now the news?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
News the first.
Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird have broken up.
Yeah.
They both have Olympic gold medals. They were one of the most famous queer couples in the country for years. They announced late last week in a joint statement that their relationship has come to an end. Quote, "We've shared a whole life over the last decade," they said, "through big moments and in quiet ones, and that is something we'll always carry with us." But amidst all of that, Dan Dakich, who's a former basketball player and college basketball coach and just dickbag fuckface radio on the asshole network radio host, said that Megan Rapinoe recruited Sue Bird into the homosexual lifestyle.
Oh my God. Gee, we're still on the recruiting?
He wrote on X, formerly Twitter, quote, "Told you for years Sue Bird is not a lifetime lesbian. She got recruited, as so many poor college athletes do, into that life."
If it's that easy to recruit people, why is God not stronger?
If it's that easy to recruit people, then why isn't that hot guy in my bed? What's his name?
I can't help you. There are so many hot guys in the world, Mike.
Henry Cavill is who I couldn't make my mouth say fast enough.
Okay, fair.
If it's that easy to recruit people, why isn't Henry Cavill in my bed?
Do I need to edit out the part where you messed that up?
I don't know. Leave them wondering.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. First, what a tough day for Sephora.
Right? I don't understand it, but okay.
Sapphic.
Oh, yeah.
Sapphic people. They mourned this day because they were such a beacon of light in a world full of bleak, trauma for LGBT people right now. Yeah, that's sad. And imagine having so many people's, especially lesbians, hopes and dreams pinned on your relationship. That must be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I don't want to pressure them in any way. Like, if your relationship isn't working, it isn't working. Like, that's nobody. You don't owe anybody anything when it comes to that.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's got to be. There's a lot of people who are fans who are upset, and they definitely represented a lot to a lot of people. So
yeah, and of course, shitty people got shitty shit to say.
Yes, exactly. Stop being shitty people.
Yeah, your bullshit is bullshit.
Your bullshit is bullshit. There's an oldie but a goodie we haven't had in a while, Kyle.
Yep.
News the second.
Yeah.
So Hung Kao, who is the newly appointed Navy Secretary under dickbag fuckface asshole Orange Hitler's cabinet, and
he could get through appointing someone named Hung Kao.
Yeah.
I don't trust him to get through a nap, much less get through appointing. Okay, never mind.
I mean, there's such a like just frat bro misogyny culture that it's really surprising. Maybe that was on purpose. So yeah, we need a Hung Kao in there. Anyway, he ran to represent Virginia in the House in 2022 and the Senate in 2024, lost both times. He has been named as the new acting Secretary of the Navy, the 10th person to hold that title across Trump's 5 years as president, because they just keep leaving or getting fired.
Yeah.
He is filling in the position for John Phelan, who was abruptly fired on Wednesday. But yeah, he's cray-cray, and it's magical.
Oh, I don't know anything about him. What makes him cray-cray?
In the 2023 interview with right-wing pastor and singer-songwriter Sean Voigt, Kao claimed witches had taken over a city in California. He said, quote, "There's a place in Monterey, California called Lovers Point. The original name was Lovers of Christ Point, but now it's become, they took out the Christ. It's Lovers Point. And it's really, Monterey is a very dark place now. A lot of witchcraft and the Wiccan community has really taken over. We can't let that happen to Virginia." And then he also criticized the Navy, which is the gayest branch of the military. You know that,
as
right?
Proven by Gata, that I believe I provided in the Navy episode.
Yeah. Apparently in 2023, they hired a drag queen named Harpy Daniels to be a digital ambassador for the Navy. And he just would not shut up about it. He said, quote, "When you're using a drag queen to recruit for the Navy, that's not the people we want. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars."
Well, anyway, you do want some alpha females.
Who's afraid of witches? They're like, they never hurt anybody. Who thinks ripping out your own guts and eating it is like the pinnacle of badassery?
Yeah.
And then like a drag queen, I would be more likely to join the Navy if a drag queen asked me to, because they're terrifying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, what a creative recruitment idea. Someone in marketing had a bright idea. They were like, Navy's pretty gay. You know what gays love. Yeah. Also, he claims that he was blown up during combat.
while he was on the 2024 campaign trail. And the USA Today wrote, quote, his record does not show a Purple Heart Award, which is the commendation given to troops who have suffered wounds from direct or indirect result of enemy action that required medical attention. None of that is real. None of that is real.
You can just say whatever these days. I say that having a podcast where I say whatever. So I guess I can't bemoan this too much.
Yeah, but you're not like then, running the Navy.
I'm not trying to run anything of any import. Sorry, Patreon. I'm not trying to run anything that has too much value to this country.
We could declare you the commander of a battleship of some kind, Kyle, and tell all of the sailors on it, hey, seaman, got to rail the new captain. And
could we declare me the like foreman of the boat that we're taking on the cruise in February?
Yes, exactly.
And we must, to welcome you onto the ship, I will be bent over, must provide insertion, and you'll be welcomed on.
Captain gets what captain wants. I love it. Yeah. News the third, Kyle. News the last.
Yeah.
It's kind of an update, but whatever. So we've been watching this new Pope Leo the 14th, and who's American, and that's new and different. And on what direction he's going to go when it comes to gay shit and the Catholic Church, and mixed results, Kyle.
Yeah, kind of like the last one, though, right? Didn't we get mixed results?
Kind of like the last one, and so I think I'll take it.
Okay.
So he signaled Thursday that he supports the Vatican's existing position that allows informal blessings for same-sex couples. That is something that Pope Francis had put into the world, that it was okay to bless same-sex couples as long as it wasn't marriage. But Pope Leo also rejects efforts to formalize those blessings in ways that resemble marriage rights. So it's his first time that he's commented on the issue. He said that the Vatican had already warned German bishops not to go beyond what Pope Francis permitted in 2023 when he approved spontaneous pastoral blessings for same-sex couples, but stopped short of endorsing any liturgical rite resembling marriage. And it's a reporter aboard the papal plane, which I didn't know the Pope had a plane. It makes sense.
Neither did I.
He has the Pope wheel, so
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
I wonder. Anyway, that's inappropriate.
What?
I was just going to ask if there's like a special, there's like the Pope's quarters, and there's like a galley for all of the Pope food, and if there's like a little boy diddling station behind one of the bathrooms.
Oh no! I was just wondering if he has his own bathroom.
I mean,
or does he have to share with, like, do you have to, like, you go in after the Pope and you're like, woo, Pope, what'd you do in here? Something holy happened here.
Everybody poops, Kyle.
Yes, they sure do.
I mean, some people poop more than others, but everybody poops.
Yep. For sure.
Anyway, so a reporter aboard the papal plane asked Pope Leo his thoughts about the 2023 decision by Cardinal Reinhard Marx of Munich-Freising to issue a guide for blessings of people in his diocese who engaged in relationships outside of the Catholic rite of sacramental marriage, which includes same-sex couples. And that's when he referred to Pope Francis, and when Pope Francis said, yeah, that's okay. Quote, homosexuals have a right to be a part of the family. They're children of God and have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or be made miserable because of it, but it isn't marriage.
Yeah. Everything about marriage feels very familiar.
Yeah. It's where the world was 20 years ago, Kyle. Yeah. So maybe the Catholic Church will get there sometime in the 2300s.
Oh, man, that's sad that may be a realistic projection based on available data. But it is. Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck.
I think that in this day and age, with everything moving the way that it is,
that's what Yep.
Then you say it.
No, now it just seems like I stole your thing.
Not moving backwards feels like moving forwards in a weird way.
Yes. Everything else is backsliding. So especially like so many countries are moving back into sliding into fascism, that like to not slide backwards is actually cool.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Anyway, that's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of things that are backsliding, I want to thank the Patreon members, Aaron Schnasser and Steven.
Oh, no, Kyle.
I know. We have no new Patreon members to mention, so I will continue thanking them in the stead of no one.
I wonder if Mr. Schnasser and Mr. No last name knew that they were going to be the poster children for our loneliness and sadness.
That's true. Sorry to those people who surely canceled their membership by now. I'm like welcoming them using names of people that are like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't want this and I didn't need this. If you want to use Mike's Hole, like you just heard on this episode, if you want to get ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to get bonus episodes and bonus segments, this month's bonus, well, did it already? What month is it? I don't care. This April's bonus episode was about biting. Biceps. And I think a fun one. And if you want to attend our Patreon happy hour, which is coming up Wednesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, look in Patreon for the details on the day of the event. If you want all those benefits and to support the show, go to patreon.com/gayish podcast.
Do it. Pay us.
Do you want to talk about stalking?
Do I? But what I want even more, Kyle, is to go look inside my neighbor's windows.
Have you done that?
Okay. I'm kind of a voyeur.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the same thing as stalking, but I have like known where some of the hot people are and have looked for them when walking by where they live. So, oh goddamn, I stalker.
I did not have on my list to talk about this. And I actually think it's a legit important thing of like, where does it cross the line? Like, isn't where it crosses the line when it's non-consensual voyeuristic activity?
Well, okay. There was a bodybuilder that lived in my neighborhood, and he would, as soon as it was warm enough to, walk shirtless from point A to point B on the sidewalk in front of my house condo before I moved. And I would definitely know when that was going to be and would go to watch him. Is that stalking? I didn't follow him home. I just knew when he was walking by mine.
I think, okay, we're going to talk about definition of stalking, but I think part of what we have to think about is when you have a reasonable expectation of privacy, like that people will not be looking at you. And like, if you have your blinds closed, if you are in your home, if you like, there are certain scenarios where you should feel like you have a expectation of privacy.
If your dong is too big to hide.
Nope.
Oh, no.
But like walking around shirtless outside is like, you don't have, people will see you, and that's not stalking to see that. And like, if you walk by someone's house and they have an open window and you look in the window and then continue walking on, I don't think that's stalking, because you're not, their open window does not means that they do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Oh my God, Kyle.
Yeah.
Is Come to My Window by Melissa Etheridge about stalking?
But I think it's about voyeuristic behavior, because I think she is welcoming it.
She's a lesbian.
This is a true thing that you just said too.
I think we're recording so late my pills wore off.
I'm so tired. I don't know what is happening. Okay.
Definitions. You're going to tell me what it means.
Yes,
what does it actually mean, so I can stop thinking I'm a bad person? There's a small chance you're a bad person. I think you should hold on to that possibility. There are many fronts on which that is true, Kyle.
Okay. I know you're more into voyeuristic activities than I am. And so you are like more at risk for this. So I feel like more going to be on the lookout. Do you agree?
I like to look at dicks, and you think, why look at them when they can be inside you? And I think that's...
Yeah, I don't need to see pictures of them. Just put it in me.
Yeah.
This picture offers no jizz into my butthole.
You're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm titillated by the possibility of what might be, Kyle.
And I'm titillated by what is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever boiled down our interests so succinctly. Definitions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I found online is that stalking is a pattern of behavior directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for the person's safety or the safety of others, or suffer substantial emotional distress. How do we feel about that definition? Do we need to unpack it more?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna. But
I'm afraid that this is going to sound like I'm a stalker apologist, and I'm not trying to be a stalker apologist, Kyle.
Okay, no, we're in the definition zone, so questions are very fair and understandable.
I kind of have just like a baseline philosophical anxiety about defining anything based on someone else's emotional response or lack thereof. Like it feels squishy because it's a thing people can say and or weaponize and or might actually be true. But like when you're being a lawyer and you're doing black and white shit, just like it's real hard to include like what a person's subjective experience is when you're trying to make policy.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? The word fear then specifically?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you prove that you felt fear And I will say, like, this is not a legal definition. I think every state has their own definition. You're going to talk more about
legal. I'm going to talk about that.
So we're more talking broadly about stalking definitions. So but I also think it's hard to enumerate all the possible things that could make someone that could be a stalking behavior. So rather than focusing on like, here's every single possible act, it's like, well, what do these all have in common? Mm-hmm. They're eliciting this feeling in you. And I get what you're saying. And I don't know that there's a better option though.
Yeah.
Some things that they mentioned in the source that I looked this up: 2 or more incidents make a pattern. Stalkers can use a variety of tactics, including but not limited to unwanted contact.
I know you have feelings about this. How many things have to be in a list before you're allowed to say etc.?
Oh, I'm very forgiving. You need at least 2 points to make a line. So you need to give me 2 things before you can say etc. Because if you give me one thing, like I can say any one thing, red, etc. Are we saying words that begin with R? Are we saying colors? Are we saying 3-letter words? Are we saying like people's names from that 70s show? I don't know what etc. you're talking about. Like you need 2 things in your list before you say etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know that you just wanted that.
I've heard this rant before in person, and I think maybe even on the show, and it doesn't get old. That's the thing.
I just am right, and it's annoying that other people don't follow this rule.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Right? Aren't I right?
Yes, Kyle, you're right.
Okay.
Nobody said you were wrong.
But people keep doing it, and it's so fucking annoying. This show doesn't have the reach that I need to stop this behavior of doing one thing, etc.
See, that's why you need to join Patreon so we can buy advertising or something.
Yes, promote the good name of the word etc. The words etc. That's 2 words, right?
It's 2 words.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this is not what we're talking about, but I'm right. Okay. Stalkers can use a variety of tactics, including unwanted contact, like text, like phone calls, texts, contacts via social media. They can use unwanted gifts, showing or approach. What
did you say? Gifts?
Like unwanted gifts? Yes,
like presents.
Yes, giving a present that is
I
unwanted.
Heard gifs, like animated like images on a website, and those are pretty much always unwanted. So
stop sending me Catherine O'Hara memes.
Yeah.
She was wonderful, and she's moved on, and so have I.
Yeah.
Showing up or approaching an individual in their or their family or friends, monitoring, surveillance, property damage, threats. Those are all possible. Like I said, you can't provide an exhaustive list, but those are some examples of things that could be included when we talk about the tactics that stalkers take. And the behavior does not have to be a crime in and of itself. Walking behind someone is not a crime, but if you do that every single day at 2 feet back, that could become a crime because it could be stalking. Texting
like
someone.
You do the I'm not touching you thing when you were a kid. Like, technically you're not touching me, but back the fuck up or I'm going to punch you. And then mom's going to be mad.
Yep. Exactly. This honestly, very good example. It has to be when it's part of a pattern of behavior. The suggestion is that victims should consider documenting it or reporting it. Are we going to have a before we start on this episode?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think we might need to. We've, I feel like, already made jokes about stalking, and it's a serious thing that is, causes emotional distress and shittiness, and we'll talk about if it affects gay people more. But okay, I looked at Urban Dictionary, and the top definition is when two people go for a romantic walk, but only one of them knows. That's
clever and creepy.
Yeah, it's clever. It's creepy. It's horrifying. It's pretty right on. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's a lot.
Good work, Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. Another definition, the urge to frantically know everything about a person by searching their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and sometimes even Pinterest, which this surfaced to me, the idea that we use stalking. I literally heard this today. Someone described the act of looking at someone's social media as stalking. Mm-hmm. That's not stalking. We say it casually, colloquially. I can't say that word.
Cyber stalking.
Yeah. But like just looking at their Facebook profile does not, and all their social media accounts does not make you a stalker.
Are you sure?
It can't induce, like, if the other person is not aware that you're doing that thing, like if they can't see that you looked at all their profiles, then I don't think a reasonable person could feel fear from a thing that they have no idea is happening.
So if I hide in your bushes and I watch you get dressed every night, but I just you never find out, then that's okay.
I mean, if you never felt fear from it, then by my definition, then yeah. No, it's actions that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety. So just because you didn't, I guess, I take that back. Just because you don't notice it doesn't mean like that behavior is something a reasonable person would fear for their safety about. Does looking at a bunch of social media profiles make someone fear for their safety?
But if I knew that someone was looking at every picture of every social media outlet that I have a presence on, I think I could reasonably be afraid of that person.
You think you would fear for your safety? Okay. You might be convincing me that it could be stalking.
Because it's got to be like, it's the 1-2 punch, right? Of doing the creepy thing and the getting caught. It can't be that. It has to be doing the creepy thing. And if you got caught, would it be fucked up? And I think you have to go that next step and be, if you found out, would you be afraid? If you found out, would you think that's fucked up and be mad?
I think they're looking at every picture of someone's social media profile I don't think that's necessarily stalking. I think like if I go to Madonna's page, I just thinking about her because she's releasing a new album and been promoting it on Grindr.
She was at the Abbey.
Oh, really?
In Los Angeles, in WeHo.
She's making a push. Girls pushing it right now. Good for you.
Yeah,
Work
and
hard.
everywhere she goes, she arrives lips first.
Lips first. Walk into the room, lips first. Yeah, I think that just because my point was, if I looked at every single picture of Madonna's on Facebook, I could be a avid fan that is really passionate, and that in and of itself does not make me a stalker.
Okay.
If I do something else too, I could see that combined with something else. I feel like there needs to be another thing added on to this. I text you and say, saw this picture from 1983 Madonna, and you looked good in your pink bustier, or whatever creep. I think if I say something creepy about a specific picture that I clearly look through every single one of them, that could becomes stalking. But I feel like there needs to be another layer besides I looked at every single social media profile.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe let's continue evaluating as we talk about it and decide how we feel about it by the end.
Okay.
Some problematic definitions I found on Urban Dictionary, more problematic ones I found on Urban Dictionary. Someone said, one definition was, it's not stalking if you're just watching. Uh-oh. And someone else defined it as a show of one's devotion.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Well, we'll talk more about some rom-com examples that makes me think about some of the rom-coms that I'm going to bring up.
Oh, you're going to do that for Patreon, yeah?
Yes, for Patreon. Sorry. Yes.
Rom-com stuff. Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of stalkery behavior in rom-coms.
My segment is called Are the Straights Okay?
They are not.
They are not. They are very much not. Anyway, so that was a really long, short segment that I told you I had. So sorry.
No, see? That's why history ends up being long, Kyle, and you get bored.
I don't. What? Okay.
Because I usually go first.
Sometimes, yeah. It's just a rich vein that I've phlebotomized.
It's veiny.
So veiny.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about the history of stalking, Kyle.
Okay, yeah.
And first, let's just talk about the word. The word stalk started out as a hunting word. The Old English stalkian is to walk cautiously. And it means it's from a Proto-Germanic root that means to steal. But yeah, it's predator vocabulary, even like at the etymological level. And it was definitely a hunting word, like you stalk your prey by the 19th century. But now the question for you is the word stalker as a noun, as a hunter or a poacher was like 600 years worth. But when did the meaning obsessive harasser, when did the word stalker become that, according to the OED?
Victorians. Aren't they always the guess that I should make?
It's always the Greeks, the Victorians, or Chelsea Handler. But the sense meaning obsessive harasser is only recorded by 1991. It is a very, very, very new meaning in how it is used in the English language. And there's a specific cultural trigger for that. And it is the murder of Rebecca Schaefer in 1989.
Are we becoming a true crime podcast again?
Maybe so.
I love when we become a true crime podcast.
Well, let's do we're a true crime podcast now, everybody.
Okay. Yes. We're capitalizing on that trend right when it's at its peak, I'm sure.
Yeah. The iron has cooled off, but it's warming up again. Here we go. The word, it feels ancient, but it isn't. It's basically like Reagan and Bush the first era word that it starts bubbling up. So it is a concept, though, that has been around for a really long time, whether we called it stalking or stalker or not. Ovid, the poet, wrote in Metamorphoses that Cupid hit Apollo with a golden arrow and hit Daphne with a leaden one, and Apollo pursues her. She begs her father, the river god, to save her, and he turns her into a laurel tree mid-pursuit. So Apollo embraces the tree and declares laurel his sacred plant. But basically, like, the whole myth is like, so obsessed with you, I'm going to steal your underwear or whatever.
Yikes.
But Western culture thought that was the love story for like 2,000 years. Early things of stalking behavior in lesbian culture, Sappho of Lesbos had a lot of her poems that she wrote seem pretty stalkery.
No.
The speaker in fragment 31, the speaker watches her female beloved talk to a man and catalogs her own physical collapse. Tongue broken, fire under skin, greener than grass, near death. I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, I am dying for love. And all of that's a queer woman in the 7th century BC. Like, this is a thing that humans have been doing for a really, really long time.
But if she just collapsed out of out of this heartbrokenness, that's not stalking. She didn't stalk in that, did she?
Maybe. I mean, she's following this chick around and like and then sees her talk to a dude and like totally loses her shit. So
gosh, she's kind of like spying on him to find out that she talks to she talks to a guy.
Correct.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Let's see. Petrarch wrote 366 poems for a woman he barely spoke to.
I can't write one poem about like feelings I had yesterday, so I don't know.
The Canzoniere is 366 poems, one for every day of the year plus a leap day.
Wow.
He wrote 263 to her while she was alive and 103 after her death.
Oh my God.
He saw her at church in Avignon on Good Friday, April 6th, 1327. She didn't love him back. She died of the plague. And he never even said hi to her. He just watched her at church and wrote a bunch of poems.
I go on these dates with people that are like seemingly great guys that have their shit together and are competent, confident, well-adjusted, attractive men. And I'm like, I feel nothing for you. He saw a lady across the way and was like, I will commit myself even after you die of the fucking plague. God, sometimes I wish my heart was a little more open.
Well, you're maybe you can't get stabbed in the heart by a dick. You've got a hole you're focusing on, Kyle.
Only one opening at a time. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Let's see. Shakespeare had a bunch of sonnets that seem kind of stalkery, if you want to take them that way. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? I don't want to go down the Shakespeare thing. This will be long if I go into that. And the legal thing, I'm going to talk more about. There's a whole segment about the legal landscape, but that I'm going to go into later. But no stalking was illegal anywhere on Earth until 1990.
Wow, so, yeah, this really is super recent.
Dominant Western romantic culture was that it was true love to be obsessed and do crazy shit to get someone's attention. And stalking laws, as we know them anyway, didn't exist anywhere on the planet until California passed the first one in 1990. So I do want to talk about... Is
that because of celebrities like LA specifically? Like, I wonder if that is some of the source of California passing a law.
I will go into a little bit more of that here in just a second.
Oh.
Let's talk about some cases, some famous cases. So
okay.
Oscar Wilde had a stalker. The ninth Marquis of Queensberry, the guy that invented boxing, the Marquis of Queensberry boxing rules from 1867. But he was violent, paranoid, maybe mentally ill, was an aristocrat. He was rejected from the House of Lords. But he was rumored to have a relationship with Lord Rosebery. And he found out about Oscar Wilde and his boy toy Bosie and started stalking them. So he showed up at Wilde's street house with a prize fighter as like a bodyguard. Oscar threw him out. Then he wrote a bunch of threatening letters to Bosie's mother, Bosie's the father-in-law, and the staff at the Cafe Royale and Kettner's and the Berkeley all knew that he was stalking Oscar Wilde and wouldn't let him in. If he showed up, they would turn him away at the door. At the opening night of The Importance of Being Earnest, he bought a ticket to disrupt the premiere. He had a bouquet of rotting vegetables. And anyway, it was this course of repeated unwanted contact, explicit and implied threats, and just a hint of homophobia that was likely latent homosexuality.
Yeah, which comes up a bunch.
Yeah. So, yeah, and he also couldn't spell. He said...
the most egregious of his flaws.
4 days after he got kicked out of the play opening night, the Importance of Being Earnest, he went to Wilde's club, the Albemarle, and hands his calling card to the porter, whose name is Sidney Wright, and he written on it, "For Oscar Wilde, posing sodomite." He spelled sodomite wrong.
Oh, sodomite. God, yeah.
Sodomite. The handwriting was so bad the porter wasn't even sure, and Wilde wasn't even there. He was traveling. Anyway, he wrote to Bobby Ross, "My whole life seems ruined by this man."
Wow.
And so okay. He filed a suit. It was the worst legal decision of the 19th century because then it invited an investigation, and then that turned into a prosecution, and then that turned into him being convicted for being a gay. And the whole thing is just crazy.
Wait,
okay.
Is this the trial that put Oscar Wilde on trial?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
that fucking blows.
Yeah, so there was a libel case against Queensberry, who was acquitted, and then they issued a warrant for Wilde's arrest the very next day.
Jesus.
That's how it happened.
Wow.
Okay, we talked about this on the episode, on our first murder episode when we really started being a true crime podcast. But the Versace Cunanan obsession. So
Yeah.
Andrew Cunanan was a habitual liar, had a pattern going back to his early 20s of attaching to wealthy older gay men as a kept companion, and then became dangerously possessive when those relationships ended. And from April to May of 97, there was a bunch of things that happened, and he was added to the 10 most wanted in June. And so whether he stalked Versace or not is sort of contested. Did you watch the Darren Criss beat hot doing that?
No, I didn't.
But yeah, basically, Andrew Cunanan may or may not have stalked Versace, but he definitely was shown as being stalkery in the show. And lots of people who follow it believe that he stalked Versace for weeks. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about, because it might have led to the dominoes falling that led to California passing their law, which is what you were asking about. John Hinckley Jr. and Jodie Foster. Oh. John Hinckley Jr. shot President Reagan to get Jodie Foster's attention. So
because he read Catcher in the Rye?
No.
Oh, what did Catcher in the Rye come up for? Some either assassination attempt person or stalker? Jesus. Anyway, that literally doesn't matter. Never mind.
So he watched Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver in 1976, and he immediately saw himself as Travis Bickle, who's a lonely New York cab driver who fixates on a 12-year-old prostitute played by 13-year-old Jodie Foster.
Sex worker.
And the character, the taxi driver, decides to assassinate a presidential candidate to impress her, and then shifts to violently rescuing her when the assassination plan fails. Apparently, John Hinckley Jr. watched the film at least 15 times. He fixated on Jodie Foster and the character that she played, even though she was only 13 when she filmed it. But when he found out through the media that she had enrolled in Yale in fall of 1980, he moved to New Haven to be near her. He slipped notes and poems under her dorm room door. He found out which dorm room she was in and would slip stuff under the door. Got her phone number, called her twice. She eventually told him to stop. He showed up to some of her classes and sat in the back, stalked her around campus. And so he wrote this letter, and it was left in his room the day that he shot Reagan. Dear Jodie, there's a definite possibility that I will be killed in my attempt to get Reagan. It is for this very reason that I am writing you this letter now, Jodie. I would abandon the idea of getting Reagan in a second if I could only win your heart and live out the rest of my life with you, whether it be in total obscurity or whatever. But yeah, he shot the president of the United States to impress a college freshman.
Jesus Christ.
And he was found not guilty by reason of insanity in 1982.
Is this maybe maybe that's true?
Maybe true, but that verdict was so unpopular that Congress and dozens of states rewrote their insanity defense laws within 3 years. There was the Insanity Defense Reform Act of 1984. He was hospitalized at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington until 2016. He was conditionally released to live with his mother, and he was granted unconditional release on June 15th, 2022. But yeah, and then Jodie Foster came out as gay during her 2013 Cecil B. DeMille Award acceptance speech at the Golden Globes. And so it just is like another, it's like the cherry on the vagina or something that like that he was obsessed with her, and it was even more impossible than he maybe even understood because she is not into dick.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What a horrible person that is just free now.
Yeah, he's just free since 2022. I think he has to check in with an officer or something is on it, but yeah, he's just free now. But so there's a string of events that is like Hinckley shooting Reagan, and then in 1989 there's a murder of Rebecca Schaefer, and then California is the first state to pass anti-stalking legislation, and that's sort of how all of that gets kicked off. That's the history, Kyle.
Wow. That was really interesting. I was very engaged. That was very interesting. And I liked the whole thing.
Great. Excellent. I'm so
Maybe
glad.
at the very beginning where you were talking about the etymology, I was slightly less interested.
Well, I did move on pretty quick.
You did. And you got to do what's interesting to you sometimes too. It's not all about me. This is sometimes this is like a quarter of your podcast too.
I'm so glad we agree.
I have some data.
You have some data. Okay.
This is called Stalking Among Sexual and Gender Minorities, a Systematic Literature Review by Katie M. Edwards, Emily E. Camp, Stephanie Lim, TK Logan, Ryan C. Shorey, and Wayne Babchuk. This came out in 2022 in the journal Aggression and Violent Behavior, which is a peer-reviewed scientific journal. The methodology, they reviewed 15 studies that met their criteria of this following list of being written in English, being published in a peer-reviewed journal, dissertation or thesis, or government report, presenting empirical data, and presenting findings specific to sexual and gender minorities. They referred to SGM throughout. I feel like in the abbreviation we've been told by Sarah, there was another letter. Sexual, gender, and wasn't there something else?
Relationship, GSRM.
Oh, GSRM. Okay, yeah, they just did sexual and gender minorities, so SGM. Anyway, do you have any guess? Are gay people more or less likely to be stalked than straight people?
I think less. I don't have any data, but that's my gut. My gut tells me that this is mostly a thing that cishet dudes do to women.
Cishet people perpetuate a lot of the crimes that are in the world, especially violent crimes, and it happens against women. So I could see why you could say that wrong answer.
Great. I love being wrong. Tell me what's right.
Yeah. So the rates of stalking victimization among SGM ranged widely across studies for anywhere from 7% to 53%. The range is so big because people had different definitions. Some looked at victimization like in your recent relationship or in the past 6 months, whereas others looked at your lifetime existence of stalking. So you're more likely to pick up more instances of the stalking if you just say like in your entire life have you ever been stalked. So there's just differences that make sense as to why the range is so big. So they broke down, I gathered all the relevant data I thought was interesting that they provided in this review of the literature. According to the only study that looked into stalking perpetration among sexual and gender minorities, 87% of rejected partners reported engaging in at least one unwanted pursuit behavior, like leaving unwanted messages, monitoring the other person's behavior. So
what year was this study, Kyle?
This came out in 2022, but they did a review of other studies. So those came out previously.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I miss 87% of rejected partners reported engaging in at least one unwanted pursuit, a behavior like leaving unwanted messages or monitoring the other person's behavior.
That's okay. I'm having a reaction, Kyle.
Yeah. What's your reaction?
I've been divorced twice.
Yeah.
And I definitely have had Instagram say, hey, look what your ex-wife is up to, or look what your ex-husband is up to. And I've definitely looked at a few pictures. Is that monitoring their activity? There's that part of your brain that can't fucking help but be interested in what your ex is up to and what they're doing. And I don't know. I think that definition is way too broad or wide or ambiguous to be real, or I'm a stalker. I don't know.
I think this is where, like, first there's it has to be a pattern of behavior. Again, we're talking general, not legal definitions. A pattern of behavior, so 2 or more instances, and it has to cause a reasonable person fear. So this is where I think, going back to what we were talking about, I don't think looking at someone's Instagram page causes a reasonable person fear. I do not. That he has no idea you looked at his Instagram page. It has no impact on him. You have not told him that you looked at his Instagram page. You have not liked all of his past pictures. You have not commented on everything. Like, you have not taken any action that could provoke any kind of fear in another person.
Okay.
And also, they said this doesn't meet the legal definition of stalking. So, like, that number's very high, 87%, but that's not the legal definition of stalking. So that's not necessarily stalking that they're talking about. Yeah. According to 2 studies that use data from the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey conducted by the CDC, the findings were that the authors said likely provides the most reliable and valid data on lifetime prevalence of stalking. So I was like, cool, let's look at this data. So for bisexual women, it's standing out again. It's always by women. There was a 32% lifetime prevalence of stalking victimization versus 16%, so half of that for straight women, and 20% for lesbians. So lesbians in the middle. But lesbians a little bit closer to straight women than bisexual women. Absolutely stood out among all the percentages. For gay men, there was an 11% prevalence of stalking versus 5% for straight men and 7% for bisexual men. So gay men, unlike the women, for men, it was the gay men that had the highest rate of stalking.
Being a stalker or being stalked?
Being stalked.
Being stalked. Okay.
Yep. Neither of these 2 studies looked at gender minorities, unfortunately. According to other studies that did look at gender minorities, stalking ranged from 15 to 18%. So that's a pretty targeted range that we can home in on the number pretty closely. So, bisexual women at 32% really jump out. And I think that's really interesting. Like you mentioned, and bisexual women just continually stand out in statistics as being
an outlier of some kind.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. Let's see. In terms of the actual stalking behaviors, same gender ex-partners, as compared to opposite gender ex-partners, were more likely to leave unwanted messages of affection, intrude on family and friends and coworkers of their ex-partner, or to leave or send ex-partners threatening objects. Opposite gender ex-partners perceived their behaviors as more threatening for their ex-partner than did same gender partners.
That's interesting.
Right? Like, why is it that we saw behaviors as less threatening? Why do we perceive this as less threatening? I wonder if there's some level of fear that we have for our the revelation of our sexual identity, so we're less likely to see things as a threat or even report them as a threat.
Or is it about like feeling somehow correct or not that you understand the person better because you're the same gender?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Some sexual and gender minorities reported that their stalker had threatened to commit self-harm or threatened suicide. And that's a theme that didn't show up for straight cisgender couples or individuals. Sexual and gender minorities reported that they experienced other intrusive behaviors specifically related to their sexual orientation, like getting messages from the stalker questioning their sexual orientation, being asked who knew about their sexual orientation or sexual experiences. So this is something that, of course, straight people don't have that experience of. And of all the stalking tactics measured, it was least likely that stalkers would sneak into a victim's home or car for sexual and gender minorities. I don't know why, but that was just a weird thing that I wrote down.
Like we don't break in?
We don't break into their home or car as much as straight people.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then lastly, in terms of the aftermath, 31% of cisgender sexual minority female victims so like lesbians or bi women, reported stalking to the police. And that's higher than the 32% of cisgender sexual minority males, so gay or bi men, and it's at 9% so for trans victims. So women far more likely to report than are males than are trans people.
I wonder if that's because dudes are just taught to, like, I don't know, not be afraid or to not need help to be physically safe, or I don't know.
Yeah, admitting the need for like police to intervene in some kind of behavior, especially when I feel like stalking can be rough because of the kind of floopiness of the definition, where it's like, was this stalking? Some is very obvious. Other times it can be like, was that stalking? I feel fear, but can I admit that? And can I prove that? And like, I don't know. I feel like then men would have a harder time saying to a police officer, like, I feared for my life, and admitting that kind of vulnerability, because we're supposed to be man enough to be able to handle things on our own. And I expect trans people are such a small percentage, 9% reported, that because they don't trust that the police are going to do shit for them, which is probably that's my guess. Yeah. Wow. That's the Gayda.
Well, let's go from Gayda to like the legal stuff, Kyle.
Yeah.
And yeah, the legal landscape. So we already talked about California having the first stalking statute in 1990. And that was because of Jodie Foster plus this chick that was on the CBS sitcom My Sister Sam. Her name was Rebecca Schaefer. And she got murdered by a stalker. And California passed this law. So they the original statute criminalized any person who, quote, willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly follows or willfully and maliciously harasses another person and who makes a credible threat with the intent to place that person in reasonable fear for their safety or the safety of their immediate family. And that's called the three-part architecture: course of conduct, credible threat, plus intent. And that became a template that almost every other state copied in some fashion. And
intent seems like you were worried about someone's feelings being the basis of like an argument of stalking. Someone's intent can be hard to prove unless they wrote it down or told someone.
Well, this is the interesting thing, like that is sort of fills in the gap a little bit. What you have to prove in court is not that the person was afraid. You have to prove that the stalker intended to make them afraid.
Interesting.
And yeah, so now there have been a bunch of changes since then. But 6 years after California, in 1996, Congress passed the Federal Interstate Stalking Punishment and Prevention Act. And it made it a federal crime to cross state lines with intent to kill, injure, harass, or intimidate another person where the conduct places the victim in reasonable fear of death or serious bodily injury. So, and then that was expanded several times since the internet came to be, that to add electronic communications and interactive computer service as covered conduct. And now that's the federal cyberstalking hook. So at least according to the federal government and a lot of states, it is stalking to stalk somebody online, and it's federal if that crosses state lines. So yeah, what you're making
I just really don't think looking at a lot of someone's Facebook profile pictures is stalking. I don't know. I have not been convinced that is, especially if you're describing like the intent of looking at all their pictures is not because I want them to feel fear from that, or I want them to change behavior. I want them to do, it's like it's because of me. I'm sad and mourning and going through, or like I'm horny and looking at some hot dude's pictures. Like I don't need them to, I don't want or need them to feel anything about that, because I don't want them to know that I'm doing this. This is a secret, private thing for me.
I agree with you. And I think that the federal government would also agree with you. And if you send somebody an email and attached is a picture of them through their own window getting undressed, that is the kind of conduct that we're talking about. It's not merely looking at publicly available photographs, but like more serious kind of stalkery behavior than that, you know?
Or I would think like some of the things I described, like liking every single one of their pictures from 2001, like could be, now they know that you're looking at that information from a long time ago and liking every single photo, like that then can elicit emotion from them. They now know about this behavior that you're doing.
Yep. Well, okay, so state by state, every state has a stalking law now, but they are definitely not the same law. They differ on mostly how many acts count as a course of conduct. And a lot of states, this is your comma, et cetera thing from before. A lot of states, it's 2 or more, and some require a higher number to establish that there is a pattern. California requires repeated following without specifying a numeric minimum and leaves it to the jury to decide if it's a pattern or not. A minority of states still require an objectively credible threat. Most states have changed that in some way since these laws started coming to be, but a minority still have credible threat as a thing. And that's the whole thing, that the threat has to create fear in a reasonable person. And but a lot of the states, the majority, have moved away from that after recognizing that a lot of stalking is implied, showing up, following, leaving objects, instead of like, I'm stalking you and I'm going to hurt you. That like isn't a thing that people say or communicate.
Yeah, if
really.
you follow someone home every single day for a month, you're not saying any kind of threat to them at all, but it's still stalking.
Yep. And mens rea is the messiest thing that states use. States range across the modal penal code culpability ladder. Some require purpose and intent. The stalker meant to cause fear. Others use knowledge. He knew his conduct would cause fear. And others use recklessness. He disregarded an obvious risk. And a few should have known negligence standards. So it's all over the place in that space of like, did he mean to cause somebody to fear? Did he know that the other person feared his behavior? Did he disregard an obvious risk? And then some states use a should he have known better kind of would a reasonable person have known that this would cause fear? Yep. And then in 2023, so this just changed, the U.S. Supreme Court decided in Counterman versus Colorado and says that the First Amendment requires at least recklessness for true threats prosecutions. And that directly affects how stalking statutes can be applied to speech-based conduct. There is a lot of like, it's a free country, like walking around on the sidewalk, whether you're stalking somebody or not, it's a free country. Like, as fucked up as that is, it's kind of true. So a lot of states are in the process of figuring out what does that decision mean and how do we rewrite our stalking laws to be tighter, to make, be clearer.
Interesting.
Every state also has stalking laws on the books that reach electronic conduct. I'm going to talk about Grindr here in a little bit, but it's mostly like stalking behavior, but it includes electronic communications, not just physical in-person communications as counting. But there's a huge patchwork of that state to state to state also.
Oh God, I can imagine states being so behind the times in terms of digital, like representation of digital stalking.
Yep.
And were you about to say that states are dumb?
States are so dumb. I hate it. So dumb. It's so dumb. States are stupid. Okay.
No, you needed to do your Mike rant. I did my Kyle rant. We needed a Mike rant in this episode too. And I feel like the states are dumb is a great one.
States are dumb. There's no like, you're okay. Yeah. Texas, you have your own special, unique culture. Fucking bullshit. We're all the same. We're all just Americans, and we have like accents are going away because of TV. Like, there is no justification that should allow states to radically govern their people in completely different ways, and fuck states for the bullshit that is the Electoral College. Okay, I'm done. States are stupid and I hate them. States have outlived their usefulness. States are fucked. Okay. Okay. So most states charge a first offense, no weapon, no prior order stalking case as just a misdemeanor. If you do it more, then that bumps it up to a felony, or if you use a weapon, or if you have been ordered to leave this person alone and do it anyway. But that is fairly consistent across the states. Let's see. Usually it's 6 months to a year in jail. And if it goes up to a felony level, then it's a year or two up to 10 years. and sometimes it's higher because some states will just tack on more years if you use a weapon at all.
What I want to know is, and I didn't look this up, does stalking lead to additional crimes? Like, does it tend to escalate into things like murder or rape? Or like, if so, then we need higher punishment to help prevent and get people off the streets. But if it's, those things are not super connected, if stalking just is its own thing, then maybe the punishment is fine.
Yeah, and I don't know, although my gut tells me that even if that were true, like even if we knew, it's unlikely to help. Like law and punishment as a deterrent isn't that great. Like,
but that's why we would need increased time in jail, so to get that person off the street, to like make their ability to perpetrate further things
I see what
lessened.
You're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and that could probably help. It's just like if you crank up the punishment for something that doesn't tend to make people do it less, but what you're talking about as a solution is different than that. So,
yeah.
And then it gets super messy and complicated, and it's all horse shit when you look at how this intersects with queer people, because we have hate crime enhancements now, especially in left coast states and the Northeast. There are 11 states that have sexual orientation as a factor that then makes it more complicated. The Federal Violence Against Women Act, which actually is the funding behind most stalking response infrastructure at the federal level in the U.S., didn't cover same-sex partners until 2013. But when SCOTUS struck down DOMA, then that made that federal law now apply to same-sex couples also. And so that gets complicated. Then trans people are stalked at the highest rates of any LGBTQ plus subgroup, according to this blog. So I don't know if that jibes with what you said Gato-wise or not.
Yeah, I think bisexual women stood out as the ones that were most stalked, according to my Gata. But yeah.
One of the things that's interesting about trans people, though, is that a lot of trans people can't get identification in their chosen name. But a lot of protective or no contact orders are enforced by police by running a name through a database. And there are a lot of cases that don't get investigated correctly because of name mismatches.
Oh, and they just need to know both names, your dead name and the name you go by, to look them up in the system correctly.
Exactly.
And they're probably not trained or willing to ask those questions.
Exactly right. Exactly
That's
right.
Fucked. That's such a solvable problem through training.
Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. Anyway, to sum up, Kyle.
Yeah.
Stalking is very new as a word, as a concept. The first law came out of California in 1990, and despite the fact that was 36 years ago, we still don't have like a good solid answer that applies everywhere for what stalking is, how we should punish it, whether it is different for queer people or not in terms of how well it is enforced, or the punishments after the fact if it is enforced. It's a mess. So if you have any sort of like, I would encourage everybody to understand what the laws are where you are and to be very careful.
Yeah. I think that on the like we said, the Patreon bonus segment, I'm going to talk about Are the Straights Okay and talk about rom-coms. I'm also going to throw in a little bonus Ask Reddit so that we can talk a little bit more about what people say about stalking behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you want to talk about burners now?
Yeah. Oh, this is a burner. Well, you'll tell me. I don't have to guess.
Yeah, burner is just a fake profile on Grindr or Sniffies or Scruff or any of them for the purpose of stalking. And at least anecdotally, gay people are weird. And
through personal experience.
Yeah. Cyber stalking is definitely a thing. There's a lot of law behind it. There's a lot of different definitions of what that behavior encompasses. But by any measure, cyber stalking in gay male sexual digital spaces is rampant.
I think it's interesting, especially with the advent of Sniffies, almost making it easy, if not the default. It's not the default, but it's making it very easy to create new profiles that disappear after you're done and start over when you log in again. Like their anonymous accounts kind of can facilitate this. I would imagine easier than, what we're used to with Grindr.
Yeah. You're right. And there's a big trade-off there that's happening, right? Like they know that feature is a differentiator for them, that it leads people to join their app and their community. And it also is a tool that could be used by nefarious characters to do some heinous shit.
Yeah. It's harder to block that person because they can keep coming back with new profiles.
So there's a student named Paul Mullen, and he did a study in 1999 that said that like stalkers are in two big categories. He called them the rejected and the resentful. And the rejected stalker is responding to the breakdown of an intimate relationship and pursues for reconciliation or revenge or just lingering obsession after that person is no longer in their life. And the resentful stalker believes at their core that they have been wronged and stalks to seek redress. But both of them are powered by the same engine, this idea that the target owes them something, an explanation, another chance, suffering equivalent to the suffering that they feel. And a lot of I just want to talk texts at 2 a.m. aren't romantic at all. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this like sort of they owe me thing has led to no response is a response on Grindr and Scruff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Which I wholeheartedly agree with. There's some people that like try to get back to every single person no matter what and feel like they have some sort of moral or ethical obligation to, and I disagree completely with that. But what do you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I try to liken it to an in-person interaction, which is it's its own space, but I don't know. That's the best I can do to try to come up with my framework of behavior of how I'm going to act. If someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, you do not owe that person giving them your attention and saying hi back. You do not owe them a response to them saying hello to you. You just don't. You can call it rude if you want to. Maybe it's polite if you have the time and capacity and emotional whatever to say hi, then fine. And just because someone says hi to you does not mean you are required to say hi back to them. So I think the same applies to digital spaces where it's easier to just say hey to 20 people in a row. I don't think they owe you a hey back.
Yep. But some people have not gotten that message, Kyle.
Yep.
I didn't realize I had this tidbit. It came up earlier. There was the McFarlane and Campbell study from 1999 found that at least when it came to women, stalking led to their murder in up to 70% of those cases.
70%?
Yep.
Jesus. So it does escalate to a more serious crime, and getting that person out of the streets is probably very helpful.
Yep. A study put intimate partner stalking at 68% pre-homicide when the murderer was a former romantic partner.
Wow.
Okay. There's an attachment and rejection response thing that happens where like attachment theory, when people get involved in each other's lives in an intimate way, it is very traumatic and stressful when it ends. And there are people who get attached before attachment has actually happened. And a lot of stalking can be from that. The parasocial relationship when it comes to celebrities or your favorite podcasters is a way that brains just can latch onto a person. And then when you don't have access to that person, it can lead you to do some crazy shit.
I have a potentially uncomfortable question that we can cut later. Do you feel like you've been stalked by anyone?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Derek's talked to me and he works here now. I get this, okay, let me throw this out. If it makes the edit, I am okay with people reaching out, and I'm okay with like fans from what happens a lot. And I don't want people who have done this to think that it is universally unacceptable. That's what I'm couching a little bit here.
Gotcha.
But like, I will get people from all over the world hop into my DMs on Scruff or Grindr, and that is okay. Saying hey is okay, and it has definitely gotten to a like, why aren't you responding? Demands for my time and attention, demands for pictures, whatever it is, and that's not okay.
I think I have like early on in the podcast so like made people believe that they cannot reach out to me, that no one I think that and like when I like was having like big mental health issues, I think part of your message too was like, don't, like, now's not the time. I think that like stuck in people's brains. So like I think people are a little bit more welcome to reach out to me when than they do, and that's not to say I want an influx of it, but you know, if you message me on Instagram, I may not reply to you, but it's more, I think, okay than you would think, or send an email address to me. That's totally fine. Where it was uncomfortable is when someone sent an email to my work email address, which I have both my work and the podcast on my LinkedIn. So I guess you could, but to like, I don't know, there was a level of sleuthing that made me feel uncomfortable, that and a combination of colliding of worlds that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Ew. I'm sorry. That's an icky feeling.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this privately before too. Like, we sort of know that some of this is the cost of admission to doing a show and having a community that pops up around it. Like we knew at least a little bit what we were signing up for.
Yeah. I will also say, I don't know if this is related to stalking or just something that people need to know. Like, at least for me, if you're reaching out to me on Sniffy, I'm not on Sniffies really, but Grindr or sorry, I'm not on Scruff. If you're reaching out to me on Sniffies or Grindr or something, and you're like, 100 miles away and saying, hey, like, it's best to let me know up front, I'm a listener of the podcast, saying, hey, rather than surprising me with that later in the conversation. That feels very like tricky and uncomfortable if like, 5 messages in, or we start getting into like, you're close by and we start talking like interests and sexual things. And then you're like, oh, by the way, I listened to the podcast. I feel like very uncomfortable and like a little bit taken advantage of.
Okay. In a bad way.
In a bad way. Good clarification. In a bad way. Yes.
I will end this segment, Kyle, just by talking about erotomania, which is the celebrity stalking flavor of stalking. And it's called de Clerambault syndrome. It's named after a French psychiatrist who described it for the first time in 1921. It's in the DSM-5. It's a delusional disorder. And the defining feature is a fixed false belief that another person, typically of higher social status, often unattainable, sometimes never even actually met, is in love with them. It's a delusion of reference. So once that starts happening, the person can like read secret messages to themselves in license plates or in song lyrics, or hear messages in news broadcasts that they can then believe are that person reaching out to them somehow. It is John Hinckley and Jodie Foster. That is the neighborhood that all of this is in. Clinically, it's very, very rare, but it is very, very real. And so if you have the impulse but still have the wherewithal to sort of understand that no, Henry Cavill isn't talking to me through license plates while I wait at a stop sign or whatever. Yeah. You can get help for that kind of thing. Most stalking is the boring, they owe me something kind, but it is possible to like have a parasocial celebrity thing that can just flip a sort of cuckoo switch in your brain and make you behave in really sort of intense ways.
Yeah. And you can find patterns wherever you want. If you are looking, you can come up with whatever, weird thing that helps prove your point. If they produce enough content, then you can find whatever you want somewhere.
Okay. Not stalking, strictly speaking, Kyle. And we've talked about like the really bad behaviors that can happen with apps. And the real question is Grindr, Sniffies, Scruff, Hornet. are they culpable for what happens on their platform? Do you think, or should they be?
Boy, that's rough.
Because you brought it up with the Sniffies map, right? As being like, that's why people are on Sniffies, but also like that's information that somebody could do something with if they were wanting to.
Yeah, like, I mean, yes, I think they are providing a service that comes with a risk. And I don't think it's 100% their responsibility. I think they owe a basic level of work and protection that they can provide, like that they can reasonably provide. And there's a lot of caveats that like, what is a reasonable level of protection that they can provide? I don't know. That's hard to define exactly, but like something like Grindr realizing like, oh, if you know exactly how far away you are from each other, then you can triangulate precisely where a person is. That's dangerous. We should not do that. Let's skew the location a little bit so that you can't do that. Like, I think they owe us that. And if they didn't provide that, I would say that they are at fault. So like, I believe Sniffies has a setting you can adjust of how much you want to skew your location. Or I wish that there were a way to block profiles and new profiles that this person creates, to, where they would track IP addresses or other ways of uniquely identifying people that create new profiles, like things that could add layers of protection to people. I think they owe us some of that because they are the platform upon which some of this stalking happens. I don't think that if someone gets found and murdered and they found him through Sniffies, I don't know that Sniffies is exclusively liable. They're not liable, exclusively like responsible for that. But if they don't have a reasonable amount of features, maybe they could take some of the blame. What do you think?
It's a sort of not untested legal landscape, but it is an evolving legal landscape. A lot of United States law, anyway, is built around the idea that the platform isn't the content on the platform. Like basically, if you use Napster to steal music, that's not Napster's problem. That's the people that you are in cahoots with to steal the music. Like we just pass the messages on as sort of the tech industry's weird legal niche that they've, carved for themselves. But that seems to be changing, and the appetite for that seems to be changing, especially when you start saying kids and Instagram it's changing, and we'll see what it does with AI coming on the scene and having so much power to create content. But yeah,
I mean, if I use my own method of trying to think of an in-person example, if you're in a bar and someone keeps harassing you and they see that someone keeps harassing you and they do nothing to try to stop it, even though they know what's going on, they might be a little bit responsible. If they don't kick out a person that's doing the harassing, they might be a little bit responsible. Yep.
Well, and a lot of bars will just kick both of you out. Like instead of doing a he said, we're just going to get rid of both of you.
Yeah. Not our problem.
Yeah. Last thing, and then I'm done. 4 things that people do online using burner accounts on Scruff and Grindr, and all of them are sometimes stalking depending on what state you're in, because it's all different. But one is outing via confirmation. If you use the radius search as a way to find out if someone is gay or not, that can be a problem if you figure it out and then use that to out them. There's a sort of side version of that, but a lot of people will use those features to figure out if somebody in their workplace is gay. And that is even worse because there's a lot more law about that, and fucking with people in their place of work is a different level of badness. So if that hot new intern, you go into Grindr to see if he's on Grindr, that's probably covered by cyber stalking laws, depending on where you're at. And using it for any sort of revenge or political leverage in the workplace is super duper bad.
Yeah.
Third is pic trolling and catfishing for nudes. That's bad. Don't do that. That's bad. It's even worse if you try to use whatever you get out of them for blackmail of any kind. And And then the last one is monitoring exes. That's more classical cyber stalking. But if you set up an account so that you can contact an ex, and I know this has happened to you, Kyle, and I'm so sorry, that is bad. That's very, very bad. That is stop. Just don't do that.
Yeah. I will say back to there is a pretty well-known scam on some of these gay apps where you'll exchange pictures and then they'll say, they'll get your Instagram handle and they will say, I have your nudes. I have your Instagram. I have all your followers. I will now send your nudes to all of your Instagram followers if you don't send me this much money, or I will out you or whatever, they will threaten something. And usually I can't promise every single time, but most often you can just block those people. They are not going to actually take any action. They are trying to extort money out of you. If you want to report that to police, you can, because that is extortion and illegal and could be a crime and could help them find whoever's doing that illegal activity. But there have been people that have gotten this threat and then done some drastic things as a result of their fear of that. And I've had this happen multiple times to me, and I just blocked the person, and they never actually sent messages to my friends or family.
Yeah. And luckily we, live in a place where that's not as dangerous, right?
There's countries where that's far more dangerous threat than it is here. Yeah, I'm very much speaking about the U.S. I don't know about other countries. That I just know about my personal experiences that I've gotten this threat 5-6 times in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so did we do it? We talked about stalking a whole bunch, and
it's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay. Surprisingly, I really, really, really thought in my heart it was just going to be a straight cis white dude thing towards lady business, but I guess not.
Yeah. It is gayer than expected. And your stuff really taught me how recent this is. I had no idea it was, in the 90s that we started developing a concept for this, even though it's been happening for, ages.
Yeah. Gay.
Yeah. Gay. Okay. I think we did it.
Okay. Should we take a break and go watch My Neighbor?
Yeah. Let's take a break.
This is
the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest. But first, everybody, listen to Kyle.
Hi. Fuck. I don't know what I'm supposed to be promoting. If you want to buy our book, you can do that. If you want to come on the cruise, you can do that. If you want to come to our upcoming happy hour for Patreon on May 6th, you can do that at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Is that what I was supposed to do?
You're fucking nailing it, Kyle.
Oh, great. Okay. Thanks.
I'm kind of obsessed with you now.
I see what happened there. Is there a way that I could stalk you, or are we close enough that you just be like, fucking Kyle, stop it? If you're close enough friends, maybe you can't stalk.
I have keys to your place. I'm pretty sure that we've that ship has sailed, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We're on social media at Gayish Podcast. You can find links to our Discord or a Facebook group or other ways to be in touch with the community at gayishpodcast.com/contact.
Our hotline, where you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply. Send us your Gayest and Straightest. We're getting down to the end of our queue here. We need more.
We're plumb out of fixins. If you want to email us, then you can do that at gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
Our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109.
Let's do our Gayest and Straightest.
Let's do our Gayest and Straightest. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
So the gayest thing about me this weekend, I was very proud of this joke, and I don't think you were around for it. And we had our D&D retreat this weekend, so big group of friends in a cabin in the woods. And I came back in after walking the dog, and I said, okay, I identify as a bear now. And everybody was like, why is that, Mike? And because I couldn't get the fucking garbage can open. It was a bear-proof garbage can, and I couldn't open it. And I just thought that was very funny.
That is very funny. I think I was going down the route of like, which would I rather encounter in the woods, Mike or a man? Yeah, but I like your version better.
And then the straightest thing about me this week was I went to the grocery store in Plain, Washington, with our friend Carly, and it was just me and her, and we were clearly a couple in the eyes of the man working that cash register.
Oh, for sure.
It was really very, very great. We're like yelling at each other across the store, like, do we need any of this? Yeah, we probably should get a couple of those. Like, it was really fun.
That is fun. Well, my straightest, this is my go-to after we do one of these D&D retreats. So I think I'm just going to like bank on this as my go-to after them. I did not shower all weekend.
Nice.
I showered when I got home. My gayest though is, I guess, at least I put on deodorant because one of our friends leaned into me and said, you smell good. And I was like, that's interesting because I have not showered. So that's a surprise to everyone involved in this. So I think my deodorant was working overtime, keeping me smelling okay and passable.
Good work, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks. We have a Gayest Straightest from Marco.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike and Kyle. This is Marco Redhouse from Sacramento, California. I'm calling in with my Gayest and Straightest. My Gayest is going in for my STI screening. And my straightest is working out in the backyard and doing some archery shooting. I hope you guys are doing well. I love the show. So hope to see you guys next time in Sacramento or San Francisco. Bye.
Thanks, Marco.
Thanks, Marco. I for sure feel like a big old flaming homosexual whenever I go in for my screenings.
And I'd feel like a butch man every time I shoot a bow and arrow.
All the times you shoot a bow. Have you ever shot bow and arrow?
Yes, of course I have, Kyle.
Oh,
was I good at it? No.
I want to thank. Oh shit. Sorry.
That's it. This has been Gayish. No, I don't know what.
We usually segue a little bit cleaner by saying like thank you to everyone who stalks. No,
thank you to all the stalkers. Thank you to all my stalkers. Thank you for anybody that has a big dick that wants to talk to me, because that's not stalking. I don't know. I don't know, Kyle.
This ending isn't going great.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no, but we're going to keep it going by saying thank you to our super gap bridgers. If you stalk us and pay us money, then we like you.
Yeah, great.
So thank you to Matt H., Jesse, Adam Y., Locomotive, Simon Srirachi, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, William Bryant, John Crowley, Stephen Porcio Stossel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Thomas B., Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
Be you and the dude in your driveway. All right, let's get out of here.
Okay.